hear what you have to say.
Ay, te extrañamos tanto.
Espérate, I'm gonna send you a picture of a boy, okay, but you can't tell Mom.
Find them and hold on tight. Keep the good ones close.
I didn't even get your name.
They'll make you feel at home wherever you are. With the right people around you, you can do anything.
Hey everyone, we've been working on a new track.
So, whatever it is you decide to do with this new life of yours, Ella, don't ask yourself how you're going to do it.
Brains of your robots onto your machine.
Ask yourself who you're going to do it with.
Hey everyone, welcome to F8. Today, we are going to talk about building a privacy-focused social platform. So, the basic idea here is that, in all of our lives, we have our public spaces, like our town squares, and we have our private spaces, like our living rooms. And in our digital lives, we also need both public and private spaces. And for the last 15 years or so, we've focused on building Facebook and Instagram into the digital equivalents of the town square, where you can do almost anything that you'd want with a lot of people at once. Or you can stay in touch with all your friends, meet new people who share your interests, start businesses, organize fundraisers for causes that you care about. For a lot of us, the first superpower that the internet gave us was the ability to connect with the whole world at once. Right? It enabled us to cross geographic boundaries, to form new kinds of communities that couldn't even exist before. It allowed emerging creators and entrepreneurs to find global audiences, and it allowed new ideas and movements to spread faster than before. But as our world has expanded, we face a new challenge. We all need to find our place in this much bigger world, and it can be hard to find and feel like you have a unique sense of purpose when you're connected to billions of people at the same time. Privacy gives us the freedom to be ourselves. It's easier to feel like you belong when you're part of smaller communities and amongst your closest friends. So it's no surprise that the fastest ways that we're all communicating online are private messaging, in small groups, and in stories. As the world gets bigger and more connected, we need that sense of intimacy more than ever. So that's why I believe that the future is private. This is the next chapter for our services. In addition to the digital town square, we also need a digital equivalent of the living room that is just as built out as a platform with all of the different ways that we want to interact privately, with messaging and small groups and sharing where the content doesn't stick around forever, simple and secure payments, private ways to share your location, and over time, lots of more different ways to interact privately. This needs to exist. And over time, I believe that a private social platform will be even more important in our lives than our digital town squares. So today, we're going to start talking about what this could look like as a product. What it means to have the center of your social experience be more intimate, what kinds of new experiences that can start to unlock, and importantly, how we need to change the way that we run this company in order to build this. Now look, I get that a lot of people aren't sure that we're serious about this. I know that we don't exactly have the strongest reputation on privacy right now, to put it lightly. But I'm committed to doing this well and to starting a new chapter for our products. And it's going to take time. I'm sure we're going to keep on unearthing old issues for a while, so it may feel like we're not making progress at first. But I think that we've shown time and again as a company that we can do what it takes to evolve and build the products that people want, including recently with stories and private messaging. So I'm confident that we can do this. And we plan to do this in the way that we've developed WhatsApp. Right? Start with the most important and private use case, messaging, make it as secure as possible with end-to-end encryption, and then build more ways for all of us to interact privately on top of that. And this vision is based on 6 principles. Private interactions. You should have simple, intimate spaces where you have complete confidence that what you say and do is private and clear control over who you're communicating with. Encryption. Your private communications should be secure. And end-to-end encryption prevents anyone, including even us, from being able to see what you share on our services unless someone in the conversation chooses to share it. Reducing permanence. You shouldn't have to worry that what you say or share is going to come back to hurt you later. So we're not going to keep around your messages or stories for longer than is necessary to deliver these services or longer than you'd want. Safety. You should expect that we're going to do everything that we can to keep you safe within our services, within the bounds of what an encrypted service is. So we're going to take the time to get this right and build safety in up front before we ship this platform. Interoperability. You should be able to use any of our apps to reach your friends. And you should be able to communicate easily and securely across these different networks and platforms. And finally, secure data storage. Because you should expect that we're not going to store sensitive data in countries where it may be improperly accessed, either because there's weak rule of law or because a government might try to forcibly get access to your data. So over the next few years, we're going to build more of our services around these ideas. And this is just a massive undertaking, right? So to do this, this isn't just about building features. We need to change a lot of the different ways that we run this company today. And we're doing this in a few ways already. First, we're committed to working openly, right? As we navigate these important trade-offs between these decisions and these important social issues. When I decided that we were going to move our private communication services to be end-to-end encrypted, I also decided at the same time that we were going to take at least a year to consult with experts and law enforcement and governments around the world about how to build the right safety systems in an encrypted environment, because there are new systems that we need to build. And there are real trade-offs between making your messages and private communications as secure as possible, on the one hand, and our ability to prevent people from doing some bad things on the other hand. So I really care about getting this trade-off right. And this is a good example of how, a few years ago, we probably would have just rolled this out and then tried to adjust and address issues as they came up. But now we're going out and consulting with experts and trying to make sure that we get this balance right and building safety in up front. Now, second, we're taking a more proactive role in making sure I wasn't expecting that. But I'm excited about it too. All right. Taking a more All right, the text does not match the enthusiasm of what I'm about to say, but we're taking a more proactive role in making sure that all of our partners and developers use our services for good. So, last week we rolled out some changes to our developer program to further limit the ways that developers can access data. And I recognize that this makes developing for our platform harder. It adds a lot of friction to the process. But I believe that over time, this is going to help build a more trustworthy platform is going to be better for everyone. All right, third, we're also building out a lot of deep technical infrastructure and replumbing the whole infrastructure that we build for this company to support this privacy vision. So as an example of this, our systems today are already built to know who's allowed to authorize, who's authorized to see the photos that you post, for example. So that way, if someone who's not supposed to see it tries to access it on Facebook, we can block them. But now we're also developing infrastructure that knows how certain types of data are allowed to be used, so it can automatically block unauthorized uses in our infrastructure and prevent errors. Now, like a lot of other internet companies out there, we rely on engineers today to manually code a lot of these access rules into our systems. But we think that we can make this more reliable and more secure. So we're looking at ways in future computer languages and in future databases and systems that can encode privacy and data use principles as first-class concepts across our whole infrastructure. And this is going to take a long time. The infrastructure is very complex. But this is just one of the ways that we're replumbing the whole infrastructure for what we do to support this privacy vision. All right, so overall, this isn't just about a few new features, right? This is a big change in how we're building these products and how we run our company. It's not going to happen overnight, and to be clear, we don't have all the answers for how this is going to work yet. But today, we are ready to start talking about parts of what this privacy-focused vision is going to look like across each of the areas that we're building. So let's start with our messaging apps, which is going to be the foundation of this vision. Now, the first thing that we've got to deliver for all of you is the best private messaging experience by far. Right? And then on top of that, we can start building more ways to interact privately. But the first thing that we need to do is deliver a basic messaging experience, which is the fastest, simplest, most reliable, and most secure of any of the leading platforms out there. So for Messenger, we've been focused on rewriting the entire thing from scratch to deliver the best private messaging experience that there is. And last year at F8, we introduced the first step of this, our new very simple design, M4. So that was step one. And now our next goal is to make Messenger the fastest messaging app out there, and to make the app binary size smaller than any of the major social apps. So we've been working on a project that we've called Lightspeed. And we've been working on this for a long time to rewrite the whole thing. And now we're a few months away from starting to roll this out. And here are some early benchmarks from our lab, looking at how fast this is compared to the other leading platforms out there. Generally, WhatsApp is faster than the other leading platforms, but the other thing that we showed was basically the average of the leading messaging platforms in each country around the world. And Lightspeed is just going to be much faster. All right, so that's what we're doing on simplicity and speed. To be the most reliable, though, you need to do more than just deliver the messages consistently. Right? We need to make sure that the service is available everywhere that you are. And for a modern messaging experience, that means having a great desktop experience. So we've built a great new desktop app. So you're going to be able to chat and video chat in a native app, not just the browser. And we are launching this on both Mac and Windows. And this is one of our top most requested features. All right, so privacy and security. So we believe that a privacy-focused messaging platform has to be encrypted. So we actually launched secret conversations a couple of years ago. So you can already have encrypted and ephemeral conversations if you want. But now we're working towards making end-to-end encryption and reduced permanence the default across all conversations. And when we do this across both Messenger and WhatsApp, we're going to enable more than 2 billion people around the world to have their most personal conversations with each other privately without having to worry about hackers, governments, or even us being able to see what you're saying. So I think that this is just going to be a historically important step for privacy around the world. So with this foundation, the fastest experience, available everywhere, with the strongest privacy and security, now let's take a look at how a private social platform can start to become the center of your social experience. So as an example, we're launching a Friends tab in Messenger. And over time, you're going to be able to see what your friends are sharing with you across our different apps. So if you follow someone on Instagram, you'll be able to see their stories. If you're friends with someone on Facebook, you'll be able to see their posts and their stories. And it's going to be all private updates from friends, no public content. And this starts to give you just a sense of what is possible with interoperability between services and how a private platform can start to be more central to how you interact with friends. It also continues the trend that we've seen with stories where follow-on conversations are happening in private messages rather than public comment threads more and more. All right, we're also making video chat a lot better. We're launching the ability to co-watch videos with your friends. And this is an example of how video chat, which is just growing really quickly, is one of the basic ways that we all communicate privately, can start to become more of a platform for how, for more of the ways that we would want to interact privately with each other. All right, so now let's move over and talk about WhatsApp. So WhatsApp already has incredibly strong privacy and performance. So here, we're more focused on the next step, which is building out all of the ways that you would want to interact in the digital living room. So first is status, right? And this is just the most popular ephemeral stories product in the world, even bigger than what we're doing with Instagram. And one of the reasons for this is that it's completely focused on delivering a private and intimate experience. It's all people you know. There are no public figure accounts that you can follow, and it's end-to-end encrypted. So we don't even see the content of the statuses that you post. Now, there's more to do here. We want to make sure that the experience continues to be focused on your closest friends and family, and not just whichever of your contacts happens to share the most. So we're working on ways to do more ranking of the content on the client side, which as we move more of our systems to be encrypted, that kind of work is going to be increasingly important across all of our apps over time. We've also built some ways to share your location privately in real time. And I use this, for example, with my family and my friends when we go skiing together. And we architected this feature so your location data is encrypted. So our servers actually never see your location as you're sharing it with your friends. It's very privacy protective. WhatsApp Business is also a big focus. Within a year, millions of small businesses around the world are using this to communicate privately with their customers. And now we're launching a new feature for this, product catalogs. So you're going to be able to easily see what is available from a business. And now this is going to be especially important for all of the small businesses out there that don't have a web presence and that are increasingly using private social platforms as their main way of interacting with their customers. All right, so let's talk about payments, because this is a part of the vision that I'm particularly excited about. Because when I look out at all the different ways that people interact privately, I think payments is one of the areas where we have an opportunity to make it a lot easier. That's among the most important things that we can do here. I believe that it should be as easy to send money to someone as it is to send a photo. So we're already testing this in India with about 1 million people. It's being used a lot, and the feedback so far is great. And we're already working on rolling this out in a number of other countries later this year. And you can take a look at what the basic experience is. And overall, payments and private commerce is one of the areas that I'm really excited about. And we're going to have a lot more news and things to talk about here over the coming year as we flesh this out more. So these are just a few examples of some of the experiences that we're going to be able to build here. And it's a look at how we're starting to bring this privacy-focused vision to life. Now, I started off today talking about how we all want to be able to communicate both publicly and privately. So now let's turn to Facebook and Instagram, the digital town squares, because as we focus more on privacy across our whole company, we're also focusing on adding more ways to interact privately across these apps as well. And here we're focusing on groups, we're focusing on stories, and more private ways to interact with businesses. Now, a couple of years ago, we changed our whole mission as a company to focus on helping you build community. Right? And the idea here is that our friends and family are always going to be the core of our social lives. But we all also need to belong to communities that share our values and interests, that support us, that help us, give us that sense of purpose, and that help us grow in the ways that we want. And I think that this matters even more today than before. Because in a world where people are joining fewer physical communities and there's less social cohesion, it's more important than ever to make it so that we can easily be a part of communities that are meaningful to us. Now, there are already more than 400 million people who are members of Facebook groups that are meaningful to them and that are among the most important parts of their social experience. And these are groups typically where people get together physically, in person, as well as online, right? Like this small group for people who like running and also care about the environment. So they get together and go running and pick up trash around their town. Or like this tight-knit group for military families. So when they get deployed to a new city, they know where to go to ask what school to send their kids to and how to get integrated into the local community. And we believe that there is a community for everyone. So we've been working on a major evolution to redesign the Facebook app to make communities as central as friends. Now, in the history of Facebook, there have been 4 major versions of the product so far, and this is the 5th. So we are calling this FB5, and it has a much bigger focus on communities and making communities as central as friends. So here's a look at what this is going to look like. It's got a much cleaner look and feel for the app. It puts your private groups right at the center of the experience, and it's a much lighter design overall. The app isn't even blue anymore. All right, now, while we're at it, we are also rewriting the Facebook website completely from scratch and redesigning it to make it much faster and cleaner as well. This one is coming a little later this year, but here's a preview of what it's going to look like. Now, across both of these, there's a lot of new work under the hood, right? And this is more the sum of hundreds of details rather than just a few major changes. But overall, we've made it a lot easier to find and connect to the groups that you're going to be interested in. Much better suggestions, better browse and discover tools. There's a new groups tab that puts all of your communities in one place. Overall, basically now everywhere where you're going to be able to see and connect with your friends, you're also going to be able to see and connect with groups that you care about. And it all adds up to this feeling that groups are now at the heart of the experience just as much as your friends and family are. Now, while we're doing this, we are very focused on safety here across groups. And while we're recommending groups for people to join, we're very focused on making sure that our recommendations and discovery surfaces aren't highlighting groups where people are repeatedly sharing misinformation or harmful content. And we're working hard to completely remove groups if they exist primarily to violate our policies or do things that are dangerous. So that's just been a very big focus for us here. Now, there's also a lot more to communities than just groups. And there are lots of different ways to interact with the people in the communities that you care about. A lot of them are private, around events, around games, around dating, or other ways to meet new people. There's a lot more to FB5, and Fiji is going to come out a bit later to walk you through all this in more detail. But overall, this is the biggest change to the Facebook app and website that we've made in the last 5 years, since we made the whole thing native and a lot faster. And as a symbol of this, we're not just updating the look and feel, we're also updating the Facebook icon and refreshing it for the first time since I can remember, to make it a bit more lively and modern. So there we go. And I'm excited to get this app in all of your hands. We're shipping this today. And so we're going to start rolling it out, and everyone in the U.S. is going to be able to get it today, and a couple of other places, and we're going to roll it out across the rest of the world over the coming weeks as well. So, all right, now for Instagram, let's move on to Instagram. We are also very focused on adding more private private interactions to what is generally a core staple of our digital town square here. And here at Instagram, we're mostly focused on stories, which are generally more privacy protective since they're more ephemeral than posting into Feed permanently. And we're also focused on payments and interacting with private interactions with businesses. So let's start with shopping. One of the interesting challenges with shopping, either online or offline, is that a lot of the way that we browse is in public. But then when we actually go to do a transaction, that's a very private interaction. So we think that there's an opportunity with Instagram to marry these two experiences together and make them both better. Now, we know that a lot of us already use Instagram to find things that we're interested in, and we think that there's an opportunity to do just a lot more here. So we're launching today a new shopping channel in Explore. So you're going to be able to browse things that you may want to buy or are interested in. We're continuing to roll out checkout. So you're going to be able to buy from more and more brands from directly within the app. And we're also announcing that we're adding a new way for people to buy directly from creators too. So that means that you're going to be able to support the people who are making the stuff that you love. And I think that that's going to be a pretty big deal. All right, now moving along to stories, as more of our sharing moves to stories and becomes more ephemeral and impermanent, we're building more features on top of stories as well. And there are two that I'm excited to talk about today. The first is that we're making the camera a lot better. We're adding a new create mode, we're calling it, which makes it so that when you're building a story or starting a story, you don't need to start with a photo or a video anymore. You can start by just bringing stickers or drawing or putting text. So that's a pretty big change to how stories has worked so far. We're also launching donation stickers. So you're going to be able to create fundraisers in Instagram for causes that are important to you and that you care about. And this is another example of a feature that is going to benefit from greater interoperability between these different networks, so you can reach, with the fundraisers that you create, all of the different people you know across our different apps. All right, now, we mostly talked so far about our mobile apps and what's possible to build on phones in the current generation of computing. But we're also very focused on building technology to shape the next generation of computing, to make it more human, more designed around the ways that we all naturally interact with each other, and now also more aligned with this privacy-focused vision for the future. So I think that augmented and virtual reality have the potential to create much more personal and intimate experiences. With VR, you feel like you're actually right there, present with someone, even physically, they're in a completely different place somewhere halfway across the world. And with AR, instead of you having your face in your phone and someone else having their face in theirs, now the computing environment is going to put digital objects in the real world that you're going to be able to both interact with and actually be present together. So 2 years ago at F8, we talked about how the camera was going to be the first AR platform. And in the last year alone, more than 1 billion people have used AR features on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Portal. And now, to make this into an even broader platform, we're focused on making it easier to build for. So today we're announcing that we're bringing the Spark AR Studio, and we're supporting both Windows and Mac. And we are also going to open our AR beta for Instagram, so everyone is going to be able to build for it. Now, one of my favorite uses of AR so far, I have to say, is on Portal. Now, if any of you have kids, or have seen kids using masks or story time on Portal, you probably know what I mean. This is a photo of my mom reading Three Little Pigs to my daughters. And Portal has turned her into a wolf as she's huffing and puffing. So this is one of the reasons that I think Portal has done better than we expected. right? It helps people feel together and have these intimate experiences. Even when you can't physically be together, you can feel like you're together. So building on this, I'm excited to announce that we are going to launch Portal internationally. We're starting in Canada in June, and we're going to be rolling it out across a number of countries in Europe coming later this fall. And as part of this, of course, it's really important that we bring WhatsApp to Portal. So we're doing that. So now you're going to be able to make video calls on both WhatsApp and Messenger on Portal. And you know what that means? That means that we are bringing end-to-end encryption to all video calls on Portal. So now you can be sure that when you're having conversations with your friends and family, everything stays between you. All right, now the last area that I want to talk about today is virtual reality. Now, this is going to be a big year for VR because we are shipping 2 new products. Oculus Rift S, which improves on the original Rift, a higher resolution display, better optics, inside-out tracking. And of course, we're launching Oculus Quest, the all-in-one headset that we've all been waiting for with no cables and full freedom of movement. So, you know, these are a real step forward. Rift S is the most powerful VR headset that you can buy. And Quest just blows people away because it's the first time that you can just walk around a VR space and fully interact with the people in it. So I'm excited to announce that we are opening pre-orders for both of them today. They're each going to be $399. They're going to start shipping within a month on May 21st. And that's a date that you're all going to want to remember because everyone here at F8 is going to be getting a free Oculus Quest. So I'm really excited to get this into your hands. I can't wait to hear what you all think of this. I'm excited to hear what you all think, and to see you all post videos of how exciting it is as you're using this. All right, so you know that's how we're starting to build out this privacy-focused vision across everything we do. It's still early, but if we get this right, then using all of these services is going to be a fundamentally different experience a few years from now. Now, at the end of the day, this isn't just about building some new products. It's a major shift in how we run this company. Because we believe that for the future, people want a privacy-focused social platform. And I believe that if we build out a fully encrypted, interoperable service with all of the ways that people want to interact privately, then that's going to be an important contribution to the world. Now, for us, this is about building the kind of future that we want to live in. I believe that we should be working to build a world where we can be ourselves and where we can live freely, knowing that our private moments are only going to be seen by the people we want. A world where everyone has the power to speak and say what they want and use their voice and connect to the people they care about, where we can come together around community and around commerce, where we build in the tools that we need to keep us safe from the beginning and prevent harm, and where we then are able to focus on all the good that people are able to do, and not just the big moments, or the social movements, the breakthroughs, but also all the everyday good, the emotional support, the jokes with friends, the feeling of being together with your family, both in private and in public, the living room and our town squares. So if we work hard and deliver this vision that we've laid out today, then I'm going to be proud of the difference that we've made. So thank you all. I'm looking forward to doing this together, and have a great F8.
What does it mean to build an awesome product? That's what I want to talk to you about today. My name is Asha, and I lead the Messenger product teams. And now, more than ever, we're focused on building new experiences that meaningfully improve people's lives. Last year, on this very stage, we previewed the completely redesigned Messenger 4. And since, we have launched new features like dark mode, message replies, global delete, AR games, and more. Take a look at what we've been up to.
There's only one direction, and it's straight to the top. Did I forget to mention, we'll save the day. We do it that way, we do it that way.
Yeah, that's just how we do it. I swear ain't nothing to it. H-O-double-W, we do it, nobody can touch it, even though we're ruling it. We acting like you knew it. This how we do, how we do it. Ain't nothing to it, ain't nothing to it. This how we do it. Ain't nothing to it.
So as we go forward, Mark talked about a privacy-focused vision for social networking. The concept is that if we were to rebuild the social network today, we would do so around messaging. For Messenger, our mission is that everyone communicates with the people they care about on a fast, private, interoperable network. To prepare for this vision, we've been hard at work. Last year with the redesign of Messenger 4, and going forward, we're looking under the hood. We are challenging ourselves to re-envision the engine behind our apps. So, over the next year, we plan to make Messenger the fastest private communication app on the entire planet. We call this project internally Lightspeed. With Lightspeed, we'll use less battery, less storage, and it will be more reliable than ever before. To do this, we are completely rewriting our code base. So early tests show that we're going from over 127 megabytes down to under 30 with a 1.3-second cold start time with Lightspeed. Next, privacy. The future is private. Ephemeral stories, messaging, small group sharing, video chat are among the fastest areas of online communication. So, we have begun the journey to make Messenger end-to-end encrypted by default. We will also be introducing more ways to have ephemeral content inside of Messenger, because we believe that people should be comfortable being themselves and not ever worrying that what they share will come back to hurt them. All right, let's talk interoperability. 100 years ago, people couldn't talk to each other unless they were on the same phone network. 100 years later, the same is true with messaging. If you want to talk to somebody on Facebook, you use Messenger. On Instagram, you use Direct, and with a phone number, you use WhatsApp. We believe that people should be able to choose to talk to anyone, anywhere, without thinking about where to reach them. So, for the first time, we are building the ability for Messenger users to be able to call and message not just their friends on Facebook, but their close friends and family on Instagram and on WhatsApp. So, as the Messenger architecture becomes fast, as it becomes private, and as it becomes interoperable, we're going to spend time making Messenger the most awesome modern-day social network built around messaging first. Please meet the new Messenger.
La 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 la, la 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 la. Tell the whole world this story is alive. This story is alive. This is my time. Oh, 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 oh. And this is my time. Oh, 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 oh. And this is my time. Gonna jump on
So what is new? Well, Facebook is focused on community, Instagram is focused on expression, and going forward, Messenger is going to be building a social network for your closest friends and family. Specifically, we will turn the second tab inside of Messenger into a dedicated place completely organized around the people you care about most in your life. Here, you'll be able to do things like share status, view stories, and even reminisce about your favorite memories together. We're also going to be announcing a new experience for people to watch videos together directly inside of Messenger. Watching videos together wherever you are makes it feel like there's a digital living room right in your pocket. And finally, something I am personally very excited about, we're going to allow all of this on every surface, in every country, with the introduction of our brand new Messenger desktop app. Messenger Desktop will be available later this fall on macOS and on Windows. Okay, since this is F8, and because there's so many developers in the audience, we want to end by talking about awesome products just for you. Over the last 3 years, the Messenger platform has scaled to over 300,000 developers, from companies like Nestle, PepsiCo, KLM, but also to entrepreneurs who started their business with just an idea. Don't take my word for it. Take a look.
What would you do if you could speak to every customer personally, one-to-one? Messenger is the platform to do exactly that.
We started Snap Travel 3 years ago, and it was only 2 people. We're now 100 employees, driven over $100 million in sales. Messenger has allowed us to grow.
Since we went live on Messenger, we've seen a drastic increase of the customer satisfaction, a nice NPS increase of 15 points.
One of our customers is utilizing Messenger to drive people into their physical stores, and they've seen a 12% increase compared to what they've done on the web.
When we started on Messenger, we were 3 people. Today, we have offices in Berlin and in New York. This is how easy it is. This is how powerful this is. This is how well it converts. That's the magic of the platform.
Every time I see stories like this, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by the impact, and I'm inspired by the opportunity. Every single month, there are over 20 billion messages sent between people and businesses. But still, as our platform has scaled, we've heard from many of you that you want more tools to make it easier to drive consideration and customer acquisition. So I'm going to share 2 final announcements with you today. First, around consideration. Appointment booking has been one of the most popular use cases on the Messenger platform. It's an opportunity to take an online conversation and move it to an in-store offline experience. So, we're announcing that we will be bringing appointment booking to the Messenger API to be available for all 300,000 developers. So you have instant booking, real-time availability, and reminders. Next, let's talk about customer acquisition. Oftentimes, we hear from people that they just need a few simple questions answered before they're ready for a purchase. Messenger provides the opportunity for every business to learn about their customers in a personalized way at scale. So, our final announcement is that we are going to be bringing lead generation templates to Facebook ads to drive customer acquisition at an unprecedented scale. All right, before I hand the stage over to Ami to talk about WhatsApp, I just want to say thank you for having me. Every day, people send close to 100 billion messages across our family of apps. The future is private, and I am excited to be building products for where our community wants us to be. Thank you for making Messenger awesome.
A few years ago, I was talking to my cousin in India, and I said, "When are you coming to visit? My kids are growing up without you." She said, "That's not true. I see them every day on WhatsApp." And I realized she's right. 1.5 billion people use WhatsApp to stay connected. As Mark said, we focus on building a place where you can have a private conversation, like you'd have in your living room. WhatsApp is a messaging service that is simple, reliable, and above all, private. What does that mean? Well, with everything we build, we ask ourselves 3 questions. First, how do we make a product so simple that anyone in the world can use it? We design the app to be predictable, so you never have to wonder what it's going to do next. And to be human, so you don't need a manual to figure it out. For instance, you always know your message is read when it lights up with these 2 blue check marks, just like your face lights up when you talk to someone you love. That's easy to understand if you're just getting your first smartphone, or if you're my brother, the hotshot Manhattan doctor who is always too busy to respond. This is a real conversation. The next question we ask ourselves is, how do we make the app so reliable that your messages go through no matter what? No matter where you live, what phone you use, what network you're on. And that means work like being vigilant about the size of our APK, so the app works on more phones. As Asha mentioned, that's really important. It means things like reducing media size when you're in a place where there's low bandwidth, so you can still send video even if you're on a slow network. Or building specifically for low-end devices, so more people can access WhatsApp. When Kerala flooded last year and connectivity was worse than usual, people could still use WhatsApp to tell their families they were safe. That is not magic. That is relentless, day-to-day focus on improving people's lives. And people felt comfortable sharing their location on WhatsApp because of our commitment to privacy. Which leads to our third question: how do we keep your conversations private? You all know about our end-to-end encryption. That means only the sender and the receiver of a message can see its contents. And that's not just true for text. Audio, video, even location sharing and group calling are end-to-end encrypted. So no one sees your content. Not hackers, not governments, not even us. Whether you're organizing a political protest or just trying to find out who's going to win the Iron Throne, I have no idea. That's between you and your contacts. And of course, all this encryption happens automatically, because everyone deserves a place to communicate privately. We rolled out end-to-end encryption 3 years ago after joining Facebook. In those 3 years, the number of people who use WhatsApp every day has almost doubled. WhatsApp will always have its roots in private messaging. It's the heart of what we do. Like Mark said, what we're seeing is that the future is private. So there's a lot we can layer on top of private messaging. Here's where we're starting. In 2016, we brought a version of Stories to WhatsApp called Status. People share snapshots of their day with photos and videos lasting 24 hours. It's where my family is watching my kids grow up. From daily updates like nap time, my personal favorite part of the day, parents, you know what I mean, to milestones like first Halloween costume or first day of school. And of course, we built Status to be private, so it's end-to-end encrypted, and you only see my status if I'm in your phone book and you're in mine. If you live somewhere where WhatsApp is popular, you know people are constantly messaging businesses on WhatsApp. So we're making that easier. We now have more powerful tools so people and businesses can communicate. For large businesses, we have the WhatsApp Business API, and for small ones, the WhatsApp Business app, now out on Android and iPhone. That's used by people like Isa Lapera, the proud owner of Cupcakes by Isa in Brazil. She was a young lawyer who loved to bake. So a few years ago, she left her legal career to start a made-to-order, online-only sweet shop. You could say she went from torts to tarts. Yeah, the team didn't want me to say that either. Last year, Issa's sales increased by 37%, and she closes 60% of her sales right on WhatsApp. And we're excited to announce that soon, we're rolling out a business product catalog to this business app. So Issa can show off all 20 of her beautiful brownie pizza toppings and cupcake styles right within the app. Finally, payments. In some countries, more people have a WhatsApp account than a bank account. We all know sending payments is harder than it should be. What if we could make sending money as simple as sending a message? Think about what that means. It means you don't have to use expensive middlemen to get money back home to your family. It means you don't have to carry large amounts of cash. And at scale, it means more people have economic power. We're learning a lot from our tests in India, where 1 million people have been able to send and receive money. And we're planning to bring payments to other countries soon. WhatsApp was founded on a simple idea: to help people communicate freely. I think about the stories my mom told me, how when she first moved to America, she only heard her family's voices every few months, shouted over a scratchy landline. But on WhatsApp, I see my family every day. I get a steady stream of my nephew's swimming trophies, or my dad showing my son what snow looks like over video call, or a commentary on the latest Bollywood wedding. And I don't need to think twice about whether my message will go through, or whether the app will work for my uncle, or whether someone else might see my family messages. We are proud to build a place for private conversations, a living room wherever you live in the world. Now, here's Fiji Simo.
Hello, I'm Fiji. I'm the new head of the Facebook app. To break the ice, thank you. To break the ice, let me tell you a few things about me. I grew up in a family of fishermen in the south of France. I'm the proud mom of a 3-year-old daughter, a steampunk fanatic. Like many people, I'm going through a Marie Kondo phase right now. And my guilty pleasure is reality TV drama. The thing I love most about Facebook is that all of these aspects of my life have a place here. I can stay in touch with my friends and family back home through Feud and stories. I have an amazing support network in the Moms in Tech group. I find out about events to hang out with other steampunk fans around the Bay Area. I am getting rid of things that don't bring me joy in Marketplace. And I cannot wait to watch the new season of The Real World with other fans on Facebook Watch. People have always come to Facebook to connect with friends and family. But over time, it's become so much more. It's also a place to connect with neighbors, with people who have the same interests, the same passions. Whatever you care about or are interested in, Facebook is where you can come to find your crew. Whether it's fellow corgi lovers, and really, who isn't? A pack of slow runners like myself, or vegan cheese eaters not like myself. I'm French, guys, I can't get behind that. But that's just the thing. We all need a place where we feel like we belong, where we can express all the richness that makes us who we are with the right set of people, safely and privately. Everything I want to share with you today is about honoring that. Like Mark said, it all starts with a fresh new design that is simpler, faster, more immersive, and put your communities at the center. We call it FB5. It's going to be coming to your mobile app in the US and Canada today and globally later this half. And the new desktop site is coming in the next few months. We're really excited to make changes that people have been asking us for, like the ability to save your spot in Newsfeed so you can pick up where you left off, or introducing dark mode on web to give your eyes a break while watching videos. Overall, we've just made it easier to find what you're looking for and get to your most used features. We'll also start rolling out a similar design to our enterprise product Workplace today. But more than the clean design and faster performance, I want to focus today on how we've built all of this with communities in mind. As Mark talked about, the Facebook app can make it easy to go from public spaces to more private ones. Groups specifically are a big part of creating more private spaces within Facebook. Some groups are public, but many more are secret, closed, so you can share things there that you may not want to share with everyone. There are tens of millions of groups on Facebook, and we hear from many people how, when they find the right one for them, it can become the most meaningful part of how they use Facebook. And in fact, today, more than 400 million people are part of a group that's meaningful to them. If you aren't in a meaningful group yet, we're making it easier to find the right one for you. We've completely redesigned the Groups tab and made Groups discovery better than ever, with more suggestions and a new tool to quickly match you to groups you might be interested in. If you already have some groups that you love, the new tab will give you direct access to those and show you a personalized view of everything that's happening across them. But these group recommendations are not just going to be in the Groups tab. You're going to be able to find them all across the app, in Marketplace, in the Gaming tab, or even in Facebook Watch. So that if you're watching an episode of Red Table Talk, you're going to be able to join the fan group right in line and hang out with other fans. We're also bringing groups to the Composer, so you can share to groups the same way you share with friends and family. Everywhere there are friends, there should also be groups. But different communities have different needs. From communities that are built around specific circumstances, like health conditions, or interests, like gaming, or around a neighborhood, or even around a common purpose, like finding a job or shopping. So let me walk you through some of the features we're introducing to help any type of community thrive. Now, health support groups will let members ask admins to post anonymously on their behalf to protect their privacy around sensitive topics. Job groups will get a new template to help employers post openings and to let job seekers apply directly through Facebook and message the employer. Gaming groups will get a new chat feature, so members will be able to create sub-threads for every topic that they have in mind. And we think that this ability to chat with smaller audiences will be a big part of helping members connect more privately and may even apply beyond gaming over time. Buy and sell groups have really taken off on Facebook. And in fact, they were the original inspiration behind Marketplace. Today, we're introducing native support for shipping, so sellers can list items for sale across the US. Buyers will be able to check out directly on Facebook, and when they get the items, the payment will be deposited in the seller's bank account. Super simple and secure. Over the past few years, we've also seen some creative ways in which people have used both buy and sell groups as well as Facebook Live to sell items. And so to make that a lot easier, we're exploring ways to let buyers ask questions or even place orders directly from the live stream, and for sellers to have a streamlined way of managing all the orders that come in through messages. Finally, your local community might be the one that matters most. We've talked a lot today about how we're bringing people together online, but when they get together in person, it can be even better. So today, we're introducing the Events tab, so that you can find out what's happening around you, get recommendations, discover local businesses and local groups, and even make plans to hang out with friends. This is the first time that all of these activities are all in one place on Facebook, so you can find something fun to do for the weekend or discover cool local spots when you're traveling. Now, you'll see that a number of these updates involve giving people the ability to kick off a private conversation from any of their communities. We think this is going to be an important part of helping people move from a town square to a living room whenever they want it, and something that we're exploring across a variety of products. Now, one of the amazing things about being part of different communities is how it can lead you to meet new people. With all the changes we're making to put communities at the center of Facebook, you'll come to Facebook not just to connect with people you already know, but also to find people you might want to know, maybe even the one. With Facebook dating, you can find matches based on things you have in common, like your shared groups and events. Of course, finding a romantic partner is intensely personal, so we've built Facebook dating to be safe, opt-in, and inclusive. Your dating profile is separate from your main profile, and your activity there is only visible to other people who have opted in. Now, as opposed to most Facebook features, I can say that I've used this one personally, but we're hearing great feedback in the 5 countries we've launched in, and I'm excited to announce that today we're expanding dating to 14 more countries, with the US coming up later this year. We're also introducing something called Secret Crush. Today, Facebook dating connects you to people you don't already know. But sometimes you have friends on Facebook that you may know more casually. Maybe you met at a party a while back, and you might want to see if you're compatible without overstepping or making things awkward. Secret Crush lets you create a private list of friends that you might be interested in. And if your friend also puts you on their list, you'll match. If not, no problem, c'est la vie. No one will know who's on your list or even that you've opted into Facebook dating. I have to say, since it took my husband 2 years to make the first move, I really wish this feature had existed back then. And while I'm clearly very excited about all the ways in which we're helping people find romantic connections on Facebook, we know that some people are just looking for friends. When I moved from France to study abroad at UCLA, one of my first moves was to create a Facebook group so that we can all meet between exchange students and hang out. So to help more people find more connections to the people around them, we've created Meet New Friends. You can find people within shared communities, like your school, your workplace, or your city. Like with Facebook dating, privacy and safety are built in. Meet New Friends is opt-in, and your activity there is only visible to other people who have opted in. This is something that we've started testing in a few places, and we're really excited to start rolling it out wider soon. Now, all of these updates today are about bringing people closer to their communities. Friends and family will always be at the center of Facebook, but there are so many other aspects of people's lives that we need to honor. We're not just moms or daughters or siblings or best friends. We're girls of steampunk, badass teachers, blind pen pals, crafty sisters, gay geeks, Navy dads, octopus owners, barbecue addicts, maybe even vegan cheese lovers. Whoever you are, Facebook is here to connect you with your tribe. I hope you enjoy the new Facebook, and I can't wait to hear about the groups you join and the connections you make. And with that, let me turn it over to Adam Mosseri to talk about Instagram. Thank you very much.
Instagram started with Feud, which is a very public way of sharing with a lot of people at the same time. And over time, we built messaging and we built stories, which are much more intimate and private in nature. And what we've learned from how people use Instagram is these are much more natural ways of expressing yourself. And so at this point, we have a range of experiences within Instagram, from public to private. And as the broader company focuses on privacy, we are focused on learning lessons from what's working so well in messaging and stories in Instagram and applying that to all that we do. But Instagram is a place where people come to be with their close friends. For me, it's my wife, Monica. It's my siblings, Emil and Anna, who live abroad. It's close friends from all different parts of my life. But I can only connect with them if they feel comfortable expressing themselves. And each of you have your own unique story. And what we've done a lot of thinking about is how to create tools to help people tell their stories. And those tools started with photos and they started with videos, but they've evolved over time. And so today, we're announcing a complete redesign of the Instagram camera, which is simpler and easier to use and has a space that we're calling Create Mode. Because sometimes you don't have a photo or a video, but you actually want to share something. So in Create Mode, you can share quizzes, stickers, countdowns, and a lot of the other cool features that we've built over the years. But people are going to only express themselves on Instagram if they feel comfortable, if they feel supported. And so we've tried to learn from stories. People talk a lot about ephemerality with stories, the fact that stories only last for 24 hours. And that's an important part of how stories work. But as important is that the feedback is private. If I post and one of you responds, that conversation is just between me and you. Also important is that stories is people first. You choose to see someone's content by tapping on their story, which helps people not worry about bothering people. And all of this adds up to a space that feels much less pressurized. And because of that, people feel more comfortable sharing more and more often in stories than anywhere else on Instagram. We've tried to build on that. We launched Close Friends, which is a way to select a small number of people and share your most authentic moments only to them. And we see that people who use Close Friends share more, and their close friend stories actually get even more responses. And we're trying to take these lessons and rethink some of the fundamentals of how Instagram works. One change is in the new design of the profile, which we're currently testing, we have made follower accounts much less prominent. Because we don't want Instagram to feel like a competition, we want to make it a less pressurized environment. A bigger idea is something we're starting to experiment later this week called private like counts. What private like counts mean is that as you scroll through feed, there are no like counts. You can see who liked a photo or a video, you can tap through it, and if you have the time, you can add them all up yourself. The owner can see how many people liked a photo, but only if they asked. It's because we want people to worry a little bit less about how many likes they're getting on Instagram and spend a bit more time connecting with the people that they care about. So this starts testing later this week. Another key part, oh, I forgot my transition. They're gone. Another key part of making Instagram feel like a place where you're safe and supported is safety. And sometimes bad things happen on Instagram. We know that. The team is working hard at identifying and addressing all of those issues. But as we've spoken with the community, one of the issues that we hear about time and time again that people really care about is the issue of bullying. Bullying disproportionately affects young people. It doesn't only affect the target, it affects the people around him or her. And so what we aspire to do, and this will take years, I want to be clear, is to lead the fight against online bullying. I got another mic. Can you hear me better now? Could you? Great. So we've been engaging with people outside of Instagram. We've been doing our own research to try to understand what we can do to address bullying more broadly. And we've got a couple early ideas that I'm going to share. One is comment filters and essentially nudges. So if you say something aggressive, maybe we give you a light nudge to rethink that. Safety tools is another idea. Something we're tentatively calling away mode, which is a way to opt out of Instagram when you're in a sensitive moment. Maybe you switched high schools. Maybe you just went through a breakup. Another idea still is giving people ways of limiting those or being aggressive towards them on Instagram. Now, some of these are already testing. Some of these will test soon. Some of these might never see the light of day. But given how much we care about this issue, we wanted to share proactively with you today. Now, if people come to Instagram to be with their close friends, they stay to be inspired by art, fashion, entertainment, travel, sports. For me, it's backcountry snowboarding. It's Japanese pizza. It's furniture design. For you, it's probably something else. We've spent a lot of time thinking about how we can build interesting and engaging experiences within the world of interests. And not only experiences, but how do we support the people behind each craft? Things like messaging with creators, messaging with businesses, private payments and checkout, which allow us to build other of value for everyone involved. And we've been very focused on this as of late. We shipped the ability for brands to tag products in feed posts and in stories. We shipped a dedicated shopping channel within Explore, a dedicated tab within Profile, and as recently as last month, our beta for checkout here in the US. But if you think about the future of shopping, we believe it can be about more than just people and brands. We believe that creators have a really interesting and important role to play. Maybe you look up to someone. Maybe you think they dress well. Maybe they have a similar skin tone, and so the makeup that looks good on them might look good on you too. We think creators can help you navigate through all the noise and find what you're most interested in. And so today we're announcing something that we're calling Shopping from Creators. And what this is the ability for creators to tag products in feed posts and in stories. So as I'm scrolling through feed, I might come across a post from Juju, who's a wide receiver for the Steelers, my team. And I might not want to wear a snake, but those kicks are pretty cool. So I could tap on that, and because Adidas is actually a checkout partner, I could buy that without even leaving Instagram. And we're excited about this because we think it can be good for everyone. It can be good for people, it can be good for businesses, and it can be good for creators. And it's an area where we think we can uniquely create value for people. And so our mission is to connect you with the people and things you love. And at this point, we have both public and private spaces on Instagram. And it's our job to find the balance between those two and to take a privacy-first approach to all that we do so that we can make sure that all of you feel comfortable telling your story. And so with that, I'm going to leave you with a short video about shopping from creators, and thank you.